Jenna, it's good to see you again.
Great to see you.
How have you been?
I've been okay. Time is going very slow and very fast at the same time.
Yeah. How has the quarantine affected your family?
We've been really lucky. I mean, every day I'm feeling really fortunate about our situation, knowing that so many are struggling. But it definitely, that being said, we definitely have our struggles, right?
Yeah.
My husband's working from home, and I would be home anyway with the two kiddos. My oldest is almost 4, and I almost have a 1-year-old. So they're both in this exciting phase of discovering things new every day, but also, the equal parts infuriating stages at times. Plus, I'm trying to do work part-time while they're at home, all the things.
Yeah, all the things and all at home.
And all at home, yes.
Yeah. So what brings you back in?
Well, I've just been thinking a lot about trying to balance, trying to, as we talked about last time, tackle my #mom guilt a lot. We do a lot more screen time than I would like. I do a lot more scolding loudly. I won't say yelling, although that's what it is, scolding loudly more than I would like. And, when I'm trying to accomplish a goal and I have to step back and think, but my son is also trying to accomplish a goal.
Yeah.
It's just that our goals are not meshing right now, and we're getting on each other's nerves because we can't get out of the house.
Right.
So just trying to figure out some coping skills, because I know that if I'm not well, then I'm not going to be able to interact with him well.
Yeah. Well, it sounds like you have a really good attitude about it, like that little bit of self-talk you just shared.
Sure, fake it till you
really
make
healthy.
it, right? Lots of self-speak throughout the day.
Yeah. So what are the coping skills that are working for you?
I try to be mindful throughout the day and just be really doing a lot of self-speak. I'm really fortunate. I have some friends that I can, on the different apps, I can just sort of talk to them throughout the day for messaging or sending videos who are going through similar things. So that helps. I know a lot of stay-at-home moms or parents working from home sometimes feel a little lonely or isolated. I've never felt that. But there's a different feeling I can't describe, really knowing that we are at home. We cannot just escape to a friend's house.
Right. Just go get a break.
The routine it's just what I say is very long days, and not knowing how to fill the time and constantly entertain a 4-year-old, almost 4-year-old, and an almost 1-year-old. She's a little easier to entertain.
Yeah.
She likes, cups.
Pots and pans.
Pots and pans, yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so you have good support, it sounds like.
Yes, thankfully.
Yeah.
Yes, and again, very lucky that my husband's at home. He can pop up every once in a while and help out. But I have some anxiety around the fall when I know he'll be going back to the office, probably.
Right.
At least temporarily. And so then it will be just me all day. And so trying to compartmentalize, I guess, how I can do my work, feel accomplished there, but then also feel like at the end of the day that I did right by my kids. It's just a balancing act. It's very difficult.
Yeah, and it sounds like you put a lot of pressure on yourself to kind of do it all right?
Probably, yeah.
Do it all well.
Is that part of my problem?
And so you named it as anxiety. Just tell me more about that.
I think I just have always had it. It's so silly, and it's going to sound very cliche, but, scrolling through social media, I found a graphic pretty recently that was like, over planning, checking everything, having to be in control, like all these things. Like, if you do these things, you might have anxiety. And I was literally sitting there reading it going, oh my gosh, my whole life, I think that this is what it's been.
Yeah.
Right? And so the more variables you throw onto me, the more I want, there's some perfectionism there, wanting to get it right and wanting to do well, and then, 2 little people's lives, and then, also wanting the house to be clean. It's just a lot, Annalisa.
Yeah, there's
a lot.
so much, yeah.
It's a lot. Oh, how Puppy? Do you struggle with these things, Puppy?
Do you think he struggles? What do you think Benji struggles with?
Well, he looks very relaxed right now. Before he was running around, but...
Right, and the moment that you started really talking about what was going on for you, he came over and laid down with us.
Yeah. It just gets kind of calming just like watching him. Yeah.
I don't know, maybe we could learn something from our furry friends.
Things seem simple, but I don't want to underplay what he might be going through.
So there's the mom and you again, like, just I want to take care of him too. I want to.
The caretaker, right?
Yeah, that's a part of who you are. That's okay.
So, but yeah, it's probably been more day to day. Like if you sit down and think, but at night you just want to go to sleep or watch TV and not really have to process everything. So this is helpful.
Great. Yeah, and you need that too, right?
Yeah.
The downtime where you just kind of shut it off and
Lots of binging TV.
yeah. What else do you do to like take care of yourself, to like cut it off for a few minutes?
Honestly, it's gonna sound funny, but I like getting away at night and doing the dishes. I mean, I don't like doing dishes, but I put in my podcast or listen to music, and it's kind of like, okay, husband, here are the children. It's gonna take me a few hours to wash the dishes, clean up the kitchen, but I know that part of it goes hand in hand, I think, with wanting to be a perfectionist about things. I feel better mentally when I'm accomplishing something. So even if it's just I did the dishes, check, and so the fact that I can get some alone time, listen to a little bit of news, not a lot of news, or just listen to some silly podcasts, or just make me escape a little bit, is really helpful. Just and I never really thought of myself. I'm not an introvert. Traditionally I get my energy from being around other people, but nothing makes me more like an introvert than having kids.
Because you're with that other person or those other people 24/7, right?
Yes.
Like you're getting plenty of energy from the other humans in the room.
Exactly.
And you need the alone time too.
Yes, and trying to realize that about myself, or even just going to the grocery store that once a week. Like I only have to be responsible for myself.
Right.
20 minutes in the car.
Right.
Well, the
Yeah,
other
it's
driver's on the road, but
yeah, safe driving. Yeah, it's sort of freeing, right?
Yeah.
And you can build those necessities into your routine and let them benefit you too. So if at any point you want to get up and play with Benji, pet him, if he's distracting you, just go ahead and let me know what's going on.
No, he's not distracting.
Yeah, he keeps sort of moving towards you like he was wanting something, but I don't know what.
What is this? What is this? Do you fetch? Are you a fetcher? Can you sit? Can you sit? Can you sit? Sit. Wow, what a good boy. Good boy. I like this Star Wars bag. Can you fetch? Ready? Do you want to go fetch? Don't embarrass me. Go ahead. Here, come here. Benji.
Can
you eat it?
Good job.
Good job. Catch me again. Come here. Come here. Ready? 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 Eye on the ball. Go ahead.
You having fun?
Good.
Come play.
Come here. Yeah, good. It's a good ball. Whoop, whoop, whoop. Leave it. Leave it. Thank you. Thank you. Ready? Can you do paw? Oop. Stay. Stay. Paw. Paw. Shake. You just want the carrot. I understand, mushrooms. Are you so sweet? I love your ears. I love your ears. You're so happy. Hi. Hi. What do you think? A little water.
Oh, yes.
Food.
often a good reminder for us to take some water and
Yeah.
right?
Exactly.
I like to let him model self-care for me in that way.
That's
My
so
cues
true.
from him. So what was that like for you?
Well, I love being around dogs.
Huh.
I love being around dogs. I just really like how he kind of does both pretty fluidly. Like, he wants to interact, but he knows to take time out to give himself some water, which I do not do enough of throughout the day. Must drink more water. But there's a nice, it's almost like there's a nice contract that you have with him, you know? It's like, you throw the ball, he'll go get it for you. You're both having a good time. So, it's to be a dog. Really simple. Really, really nice. And he seems very carefree. Nothing's bothering him.
Pretty different from what you described with the checklist and the perfectionism,
Yes.
right? But you know, in that moment, there was no checklist. I didn't tell you what to do. Benji didn't tell you what to
That's
do,
true.
right? You just went right into the moment and played.
Yeah. Playing is good. I should do more playing, probably.
Yeah, well, you just did.
Yeah.
Check that off your list for the day.
There you go.
There you go.
A for playing.
Yeah. So if Benji were going to give you some advice about the problems you're struggling with right now.
If Benji were going to give me some advice, well, you know what I couldn't do when I was throwing the balls? I could not check my phone when I was throwing the ball for Benji.
Yeah.
And I know I catch myself doing that. Like, my toddler is frustrated and I'm wondering why. And it's like, because I'm on my phone, like trying to send an email and he's trying to play. Like, probably can't do two things at once, and that is okay.
Yes.
Not doing either of them well is just constantly frustrating. So Benji would probably say, like, set aside some time for each thing, probably including drinking water and self-care.
Yeah. Taking naps and
Oh, wouldn't a nap be great? My toddler doesn't even nap anymore. It's another part of my problem. Can you talk to him about that? Benji, talk to him about that.
Benji, show him how to nap.
Yeah, please take a nap.
Yeah. Yeah, you seemed very relaxed in the moment when you paused to just play with Benji, and yeah, even like the way you're sitting now, just you're like a little bit more relaxed than before.
That's probably true.
Yeah.
Yeah. Simple reminders. Sometimes I think it is really just simple. Probably we overcomplicate things throughout the day.
Yeah.
Yeah. Back to basics.
I'm picking up on some of the words that you've used, like overcomplicate, overthink, perfectionism. There's like a theme of like pressure.
Yeah, that's me probably. It's so funny you said that. I'm making a cake for my upcoming 1-year-old's birthday, and so I got this cake pan someone loaned me, and I was really picturing that it was going to be a heart. But instead it was a cake pan that was round with a heart cut out. And this is so me and my husband. I brought it home and I was like, I guess I just pour the batter into the heart-shaped mold. And Dave said, I think you make the cake and then after it cools, you cut it out with the heart. But like, because I'm so like, okay, well, this is how I'm gonna do. Yes, I overcomplicate and overthink.
Yeah.
Many things, even the cake.
Sounds like a pretty harmless mistake, though.
Yes. I think that's much of my life, though. Make things too difficult on myself.
Yeah. Okay, so there's some patterns, but it sounds like you have some pretty good self-awareness too.
Try to, yeah.
And maybe lean on Dave to undo some of the patterns.
Yes, to say, I think that maybe you should try it this way. Oh.
Yeah.
If only my toddler would say, Mom, try it this way.
Oh, he will.
Or the baby. True. I've heard that as they get older. Careful what you wish for. I think I was really good at, I like working. Like, I was good at working. And then for a little bit of time, I got to just be a stay-at-home mom. And now I'm trying to do both and it feels like I'm doing both part-time and sometimes not well every minute of the day. So that's difficult. It's hard to, because you want to believe that you can do it all, and women empowerment or caretaker empowerment, but it is really hard.
Yeah.
So many people have to do it, which makes me think 98% of the country is really stressed out all the time who have kids and are trying to work.
And where does that message come from, right? That you have to be able to do it all, right? Learn to work 40 hours and be a mom 80 hours. And
where does that come from? There's something. There's something about Western culture that says we have to be able to do it all, right? I don't know where that comes from, but I imagine it has something to do with the evolution of our society, and roles are continuously changing, and things at our disposal are great, but continuously changing. I think there's so many opportunities. Like, we hear that all the time, right? Like, we have opportunities our parents never had, our kids have opportunities we've never had. And I think opportunities are great, but then it probably just adds another variable and overcomplicated things. If there's more activities and there's more things to do, and there's just more complicated things in the world right now.
Yeah.
So I think it probably compounds itself. And then if you happen to naturally be sort of a stressed out person.
Yeah, those things pile onto each other.
Yeah. So.
Well, I think you're exactly right. I think that message of doing it all and doing it perfectly does come from our culture. And there's something about women in our culture where that message is especially
Yes, I think
intense, right?
I think so.
So when you're hearing that message in your own heart, right, like, whose voice is that that's telling you, no, you have to be perfect at this?
It's probably mine.
Yeah.
Because I think there is something about your whole life, you have, you're focused. Like, when you're in kindergarten, you have a thing to do, but there's still, are you getting that star? Are you getting that check mark? And then all the way through your entire life. But then as you add more variables and you're trying to continue to be, with all the outside external messaging, at least for me, I'll just speak for myself. I think that's probably where it comes from.
Right.
Knowing that for me personally, I get a lot of personal validation if I got the A, or if I, did something well or finished the project really well. But having kids is a continuous project. You're never really done with the project, right? And so every day you kind of start over. I never thought about it that way, but that probably is something to do with it. And I try to reset throughout the day when I can tell we're getting on each other's nerves. I'm like, okay, let's just reset.
Yeah. Oh, that's interesting. How do you reset?
Sometimes it's my husband coming upstairs and it just resets both of us. Like, we're getting on each other's nerves, and why won't you say please? And then Dave comes up and he says please for Dave. Like, me. I don't take it personally.
Right.
But, we'll have some screen time, or I can take a break, drink my coffee in the morning, or get some work done while the baby's napping. We call it my son's matinee time. He gets his matinee. And then I get to do some work. Then after that, we kind of reset and make dinner and kind of go into our nighttime routine. So it's just different chunks. It's been a process of, because before quarantine, we were able to get up, we had a routine, get dressed, brush teeth, all the things. Then we would normally go somewhere, even if it's just to the park or a friend's house, or take a day trip to a museum. But since we can't do that, I've had to figure out how to fill those 4 or 5 hours.
Yeah, you've become the cruise director in your own home.
Yes, being a cruise director at home, while trying to, make sure the house is clean and do the laundry and do all the things.
Yeah, also the housekeeping staff and the cooking staff and the
Yes, exactly.
running this whole cruise ship here.
I know. I said to my husband, maybe we should switch. I was real good at going to work and earning money. Maybe you could try this.
How did he react to that?
He just kind of looked at me and shook his head. We haven't intentionally had the conversation. We haven't sat down and said, do you think that you could do this? But he's given me some clues that he appreciates. The fact that it's harder than it may look.
Yeah.
Especially in the beginning my toddler was a baby, and he was a very easy baby. Like, I really kind of was getting away with something for the first 6 months. Dave would come home and, oh, that was so hard. Woo, so hard watching TV all day and changing a couple diapers. But then it did start to get hard, you know, and there was a transition there that I didn't see at first. Plus, then I started my part-time job at the same time.
Right.
And I ironically started the part-time job because I was like, oh, this is so easy. I can start a part-time job. And then he started getting harder. Yeah, and now it's 3 years later, you know.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, and it seems like you are sort of juggling it all really well. But maybe your own. Yeah, it really does. It does seem like that. But maybe your own self-care is the ball that's starting to drop more.
That could be. Especially since I can't like go get a pedicure right now, or get my hair cut very long.
No, but those are very real things, right? Yeah. Those are the ways that we would care for ourselves and get a break from whatever demands are on us, and that's a loss right now.
That's a good point. That's a really good point. The things that it was funny because my husband was able to go golfing, which I'm constantly reminding him of. Golf course is opened, right?
Right.
And you can kind of do that on your own and be socially distant. And I did say, like, jokingly, but also not jokingly, well, the things that I can do, I can't do yet. Like, I don't feel comfortable wandering around a store, which is what I would do to get away, or getting a pedicure or whatever.
Yeah.
I've been to the eye doctor. That was great.
Yeah. You know? That's a shift in perspective, and the eye doctor is your new pedicure.
Got to go see my eye doctor, you know.
Yeah.
So that's probably a really good point with everything happening, and then not being able to, or just go sit with friends at a restaurant. Yeah, those are definitely everything that's saying, like, I found out that all I like to do is eat out and touch my face.
Right.
And that's true.
It feels
at least
so
I can
true.
still touch my face at home.
Yes. Yeah. So have you sort of, I mean, grieve might be too intense of a word, but have you let yourself be sad about that loss?
Probably not. I've been trying to do a lot of feeling grateful.
Yeah.
You probably are allowed to do both.
Yes.
Like, feel grateful because I do know how lucky we are. You know, Dave kept his job, and there are so many struggling, and that's probably another layer. I've just been feeling a lot of, for everyone, you know, in our community,
feeling for everyone.
Neighbors,
yeah.
like, oh my gosh, folks, people in our family who've lost their jobs or who have lost all kinds of things, plans that they had, weddings that they had, you know, healthcare things that were coming up that just all got put on hold. So just trying to really feel grateful for the things that we have. So probably not. I probably haven't had a chance to sit and go, oh, but all the things affecting me. Because that feels really selfish to say,
selfish.
Go get that pedicure. And meanwhile, I have friends who have lost their job. You know, it's hard to say those things, but it's true.
So I can like almost see your empathy like sort of bubbling up for everybody else, right? And I want to come back to something you said a moment ago, which is you can probably feel sad and grateful at the same time. But can I ask you to rephrase that for yourself?
Oh, that. So
you said you. Yeah,
so
exactly.
I can probably feel grateful and mourn some of the losses in my life at the same time, even though I still feel really fortunate. Do I have to put it? I probably don't have to put a disclaimer on it. What do you think, Benji? Do I have to put a disclaimer on it? He's like, nah. Nah, you don't have to put a disclaimer on it.
You can honor you.
Yeah. I don't know why that feels like. Why do we have a society where we feel like we have to do all these things and then we can't have ourselves in? We can't factor ourselves into that. That's so. That's so weird. Or why? I'll speak for myself. Why do I feel like I can't do that? That's interesting.
It's a good question. You want to take a stab at the answer?
What would Benji say?
What do you think, Benj?
Yeah, because I wonder if, I think there is something to feeling like if I don't do X, Y, or Z, something will fall apart and then I will feel responsible for that. But that's so needlessly narcissistic, right? To feel, I don't know.
I don't know. Narcissistic seems strong.
It's too strong a word.
That's strong.
Self-centered. But I guess I do feel a lot of responsibility for my work that I do. I think a lot of the things I do at work I probably don't have to do, but feel really compelled to do things because I'm thinking about the folks who are impacted or not impacted by that. And then I wonder if anyone's even noticing or paying attention, you know, and it's, you know, not for that, but then also wanting to make sure my kids are being raised well and not just being yelled at all the time, scolded loudly.
And I wonder if there's a cultural piece in that as well. Like, I wonder if somewhere along the way you got that message as well, that, you know, it's your responsibility, your job, right? You go into work and like go over and above, do more than you really necessarily have to do, and not get the recognition you deserve.
I don't know. It should be enough to just know that you're doing it, right? Yeah. But maybe it's not.
Yeah. And maybe that's okay.
Maybe that's okay.
So as we're wrapping this up, I wonder if we can do a little exercise, because I'm remembering you said at the beginning of the session that you have some anxiety about the fall coming up.
Yes.
And and there's a really neat grounding technique that we could do. Maybe if Benji wants to be involved, we could do it with him. And can I teach you the grounding technique
Sure.
for anxiety? Okay. Should we go over to him?
Yeah, we can.
Yeah. Hi. Okay, so this is a grounding technique for anxiety or even just intense stress, right? When you're very stressed out.
Okay.
And what you do is kind of bring all 5 of your senses into play and mindfully, consciously, even out loud, say what's going on around you. So start by naming 5 things you can see right now.
Okay. I can see this puppy with a little white spot on his ear, which is super cute. I can see the green grass, his harness, the pretty day, and I see you.
How about 4 things you can hear?
I can hear the birds. Birds are very loud. Someone doing yard work in the distance. Lots of birds. Never realized how many birds.
Yeah.
And I hear you snuffling. I hear the puppy snuffling.
All right, and 3 things you can feel.
I can feel soft puppy fur. I can feel the grass. Now I feel a tongue. The breeze was nice before.
And how about 2 things you can smell?
It definitely smells like summer. It smells like it's going to be humid later.
Like summer.
And puppy breath. You're so gentle. You're so gentle. That's my hair tie.
And then 1 thing you can taste.
My coffee.
Good.
Yeah.
And how do you feel?
Well, right now I feel good, relaxed. I'm just sort of concentrating on one thing. This here puppy. Concentrating on the puppy.
So Benji, he burns a lot of energy, you've noticed. Yes. He's got some puppy energy. He can burn it up quick. So if there's anything you want to leave with him, you know, anything from your stress or your struggles or anything that you just want to give to him to take care of, he can handle it. And you don't have to say it out loud, or you could whisper it to him if you want, or just think it at him. All right, so leave that with him until next time, and if you want it back, he'll give it back to you.
Great. Benji.
All right.
See you later.